Supreme Rice. Since the 1930s, supporting Louisiana farmers and communities throughout Louisiana. To find out more, go to supremerice.com. Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Dozy Place on Government Street in Mid-City, welcome to the Tuesday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, Max Gotro, and Jordan Kinch is back in the studio. Andy Isco with us today. Greg Bowser with us today. We do first class, second class, no class today. Can I just zoom right to the no class for today? Get to that in a second. Gorgeous day here in Mid-City.
It's cold,
sunshine.
Man.
It's it was cold yesterday.
My bones hurt, man.
You correctly predicted fall. I'm going to correctly predict winter follows fall. But good news, it will be warming up, and it will be warming up for the next few days. It's going to get cold after that, though. It's going to get cold after that, though, at some point.
Handle cold weather for a day or two.
Well, that's what you got. All your plants made it. You okay?
Yeah. No harm there.
Little portable, little makeshift greenhouse in our backyard. All right.
What's wrong, Charles?
I'm aggravated.
I'm
aggravated. I'm not even aggravated as a show host today. I'm not aggravated as a sports observer or a football observer. I'm aggravated as an alumnus of Louisiana State. I'm aggravated as a citizen of Baton Rouge. I'm aggravated as someone who has lived here for a long time and supported the football program and not supported the football, followed the football program. Look, we want them to do well. We get that. And frankly, one of my biggest pet peeves, is when somebody from outside the region stereotypes us as a bunch of dumb coon asses. Okay, that just grinds my gears because they are stereotypes.
I would leave out the coon.
Well, dumb Cajuns, dumb asses. Yeah, whatever. Okay,
we embrace part of our, their.
The tone matters. If I call you,
yes.
If I come to the party and go, hey, you bunch of coon asses, that's different than you bunch of dumb coon asses. Okay?
Dumb asses, I think applies today.
Right. Yeah, and I'm tired of looking dumb. Because there is ample ammunition. You heard the national show right before us. I mean, they're just reading what's there, and I'm tired of looking like a bunch of dumbasses. And that's what LSU looks like right now, and we're all lumped in because we all live here if you follow the school. Okay, so if you miss this is what it's frustrating to me, and it's got nothing to do with whether the football team loses or wins this week or next week. Okay, so this is the story that is at the top of every sports headline this morning, which is that Brian Kelly's attorneys had to file a lawsuit yesterday because the school is now seeking to fire Kelly for cause to avoid paying the buyout of about $54 million. I'm going to go through this because I want to get it right. According to the filing, Kelly's lawyers are seeking a judgment confirming that LSU's termination of Kelly is without cause and is entitled to receive the full liquidated damages. Okay, so there's 3 points in this. One is that LSU is including that he has somehow not been terminated. As if none of us saw this 2 weeks ago when Brian Kelly walked into the building and said goodbye to the team, when Scott Woodward, the then athletic director, put out a statement that Frank Wilson went to the podium as the interim coach, but somehow he's not been terminated. That you can, come up with some really carefully worded semantics to say he's been reassigned. That, number two, the athletic director Woodward was not acting with authority, despite the fact that this meeting was attended by several LSU officials that include the current athletics director, Verge Osbury. And number 3, and this is the one where, as bad as the first two were, there were any grounds for termination with cause. Okay, let's talk about cause for a second. Cause as being convicted of a felony or any crime involving gambling, drugs, or alcohol. We seen any of that? I think if Brian Kelly would have gotten arrested, that might have made the news. If there is any material or substantial NCAA rule violations, fairly certain, there have been rule violations here before. We usually find out about that, right? They send you a notice of allegations. They send you a letter, okay? That usually makes the news, too.
Violations usually require effort.
We've seen that before, and pretty sure that didn't happen. Or, and here's the one, engaging in serious misconduct which either displays a continual or serious disrespect for the mission of LSU or constitutes moral turpitude. I don't know what Brian Kelly did when he was out of the public eye. I really don't care all that much if it doesn't involve the crimes and things that we talk and the violations that we talked about earlier. It's awfully tough to make, if there is some smoking gun somewhere, and I don't know if there is or not, it's awfully hard to make the case that that's the reason you fired him when you did it the day after you got blown out by Texas A&M. Because I'm fairly certain that if that score had been reversed, Brian Kelly would have been the coach on that Sunday and that Monday and would still be the coach today. Now, he might have gotten fired somewhere down the line. But if you want to say we are firing you for cause, for some moral clause in the contract, then you picked a hell of a time to do it. The day after the Texas A&M game. So, listen, I'm not even qualified to use the restroom at any law school in this country, okay? But I've signed a few contracts in my life, and I'm not completely oblivious to the law. And this just makes I'm sorry right now. Unless I'm missing something, Jimmy, please correct me if I'm wrong. This is absolutely – if you couldn't have made this any harder on yourself with the way you have done this, from the Sunday, the Monday, the meetings at the building, the governor's mansion, the press conference, the fumble of naming an athletic director and not naming an athletic director to now this, how dumb do you want to look? I don't get it. Look, Penn State's firing was bad, but they paid the guy and he walked out the door. Okay, it was unfortunate, but it happened. And now you're trying to say, well, wait a minute, no, we really don't want to pay this. Well, I'm real sorry about that. Because unless you do have one of these clauses, and if they do, I'll apologize. If they've got a case that they're just not stating today, I'll get on the air and I'll apologize. But this right here makes them look dumb.
Well, what's going on? And everybody, since this is kind of broken this morning, we got wind of this.
Yes.
That Sunday, the 26th, and Monday, the 27th. As this, the embarrassment of the A&M loss. We're on Football Sunday and then watch the games at Caesars and then doing the show on Monday or exchanging phone calls. I took the day off for my birthday, and but we were making phone calls, and this came up in our saying, well, they think that he might be willing to take less to drop the offset, and they're threatening to fire McCaws.
Yeah.
Okay. But in the things they brought up, well, this didn't happen this week. This is, if you're going to try and go this route, I mean, my money's on that he's getting his money. And it's the price of doing business. If you're Bobby Petrino and you have your motorcycle accident, or you have, even Mike Leach with the things that happened in Lubbock.
Craig James's kid in the closet.
With people that were fired for cause.
In the shed. Yeah.
Yeah.
The equipment shed.
But when they actually go to court on how many going to Neuheisels, which he won his deal.
That was the
pool,
right?
The March Madness pool when he was at Washington. And you're under a very important football hire, and this is damaging again.
Yeah.
How much damage can you do and expect to get a really good hire?
And why? They don't owe Brian Kelly $54 million today. Okay? They owe him about $800,000 next month. All the way through 2031. So
Per
it's not
month?
like
Per month.
Yeah, it's a little under $800,000, but right about. You can do that for the next 6 years. Okay, I'm assuming that they budget. They plan to pay the football coach $800,000 on December the 1st. So pay him and see how this plays out. Okay, get a new coach in here. Move on. See if Kelly gets a job. I don't think he will, but maybe a media job.
There was word that initially he was ready to get back into it. Maybe after a couple of weeks of playing golf, I might. He may have changed his mind.
And you and I differ slightly on that. I think they put that story out to say, look, he's trying to get a job in case LSU came back and said, you're required to go out and at least look for a job to offset. I don't think he was serious about it. Maybe he was, but I don't think he was serious. That's just my opinion. I don't have anything to prove that. But I think that they put that story out so that he could say, well, I was trying, but, I didn't find a job. And that would satisfy his commitment to at least trying to find another job. I could be completely wrong on that. But I don't get this.
He could, if he wanted to, he could get another job. There's no doubt.
Yes.
I mean, it might not be the most coveted that he wants, but there's so many available. He could easily. I mean, James Franklin. I mean, who has more stock, Franklin or Kelly right now?
I would say Franklin.
I would say Franklin because
he's much younger.
Younger and hungry.
Okay.
Because we kind of a little bit closer to the situation here.
Yeah.
Maybe if we were doing a show in Happy Valley, we might have a little bit different opinion.
Maybe. I would say that if I put the candidates side by side, they both have a lot of similarities. They've won a lot of games, but they haven't won the big games. And if I had to hire one of the two, Franklin would be more attractive to me because he's significantly younger. Okay, that's as plainly as I can put it without anything
close.
Else. Yeah, that's.
It's not a slam dunk either way. I could make a case for Kelly, too.
I could,
but I would take Franklin as well.
Yeah.
No matter who talks about the situation, it's brought up on a lot of shows nationally. The show that precedes us on our station, which kind of bridges our local programming from Jacob and Matt to us, it's an hour. It's an ESPN national program. They talk college football or college football or basketball, maybe 0.8 of 1% of the time is devoted to college athletics. I mean, nothing. Oh, bam, we put it on, in the queue. We're watching. They're slamming it. Nobody's defending LSU on this. It's like, how much embarrassment do you guys want?
LSU's
how much damage
LSU.
do you want to do to this hire? How much damage do you want to do? And I just wonder, as I'm sitting in Bryant-Denny about 30 minutes prior to kickoff Saturday night, and here comes Saban, fresh from Lubbock, with his entourage or kind of his security people, and he is not talking to anybody. He is going through, and he's going to his little suite, and he's going to sit down and watch the two teams that he coached to national championships. And I just wonder if it's going to go full circle, and we're going to go right back where we were in the late 90s. And because we're talking about the data tells us, three straight coaches won national championships here. There's only that in Miami. That's it. That's the list. But I know 2019 is the best to me. I can make the data, most top 10 wins, which the whole did. The other team never had the ball, one possession game in the fourth quarter. I mean, unbelievable in what they've done as NFL players as well. The best season in the history of college football. But what have you done since? You went to Atlanta, got drilled one year, and so as long as the more you go away, how are they going to get? I mean, Summerall still take it, huh?
They're coaches.
Huh? They'll still take it, but you have damaged the hire, man.
Well, if you haven't damaged the hire, okay. Wait, hang on. You have.
It's just a matter of how much.
You have damaged the brand. Okay.
Yes. That lasts longer.
It much longer, because you say, what has LSU done since the 2019 season? The brand. Okay. Jaden Daniels won the Heisman. Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas went in the first round. You can still come here and be a very successful football player, and that's along the side of all of the other sports where LSU has had Paul Skeens and Livy Dunn and Justin Jefferson and Joe Burrow and all of these people in the last 5 years that have become mega stars in professional sports, and they all have at least acknowledged LSU as a big part of that. That was brand building. Okay, so you may still get a good coach, despite your best efforts not to. But the damage to the brand, I think it was Gordon McKernan on his interview with Matt said, and if it was somebody else and I'm misremembering, he said there was damage being done to the brand by Brian Kelly, so they got rid of him. Fine, okay. You have done more damage to the brand in the last 2 weeks, I think, than Kelly did in 4 years. That's my opinion.
You're gonna fire
the
him.
Brand.
You're gonna pay him. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a cost of doing business.
You're not even defending yourself. You're saying you're fighting for cause. I mean, make your case publicly here. Oh, well, we got to, we got to do it along the side. I get it. Leak it to somebody. Defend yourself, because you are getting blasted today.
They've leaked it to some,
and that's doing damage to the brand.
They've leaked it to some. You know that.
Yeah,
you know what they're talking about.
But they got no leg to stand on that I can see.
Well, it was a Les Miles era, and this was maybe a football media day in August, and it was in the new ops center. Is that the Lawton room with the Bollinger ship anchor and all that stuff in it? Is that the room? The meeting room, the big meeting room?
The Lawton room is on the side of Tiger Stadium.
No. This is over at the ops.
There's a huge meeting room.
Yeah, so, and Jimbo Fisher, you can kind of tell, because he applied for the job when Nick left. He was the most important hire on Saban's initial staff, because Saban was going to handle the defense, and he was going to, who was the opposite ball, coordinator, Jimbo Fisher. So, with Fisher applied, but he still, so him, it was kind of like, we should have known that going in, that him and Les, who Les wanted to have his hands on, and it was that constant tug of war, and everybody's got their interpretation of it. But you kind of tell this might be it for Jimbo. And so people asked, I said, well, what do you think of, like, LSU's program? Do you think it's going to dip? And he said, man, listen, there's too many things in place here for this program to dip. There's too many things. There's too much support. There's too much branding. There's too much, your recruiting base. This is before the new rules.
Yeah.
But today reminds me of that, because I'm wondering if Jimbo Fisher would feel the same way, because how many days are we going to wake up? Well, this has got to be it. This has got to be it for the humiliation,
it turns around
for the embarrassment,
now, yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's got to be. And it was the governor. Can we shut the governor up? Okay, can we brought him through? Can we take him to task on his inaccuracies and all of his public statements, and to kind of check him a little bit, where he might even say, maybe I need to take a backseat on this whole thing, as far as politics, whatever. And then here we go again. I mean, it's a gift that keeps on giving, dude. It's just like, man, where does it stop? This is that 80s article in the SI, Crazy Days at LSU, come back to remind me as well. This is times 10. So, man, you want to be a player, and I thought that the private donors were stronger than ever. I thought that they're willing to, no, they got the money. Well, if you have the money, you're not doing this. Because even if you got a case, you're still dragging it. You're dragging the brand. You're dragging the hire through the mud.
And the hire could be, you could still have a good coach, okay? There's a lot of alpha dogs out there that will say, I don't care who the AD is. I don't care who the president is. I don't care who the governor is. I can go coach that team. But the brand, and I agree with you, the hire has been hurt, okay? It's been damaged. But the brand has been damaged so much more. Because you might still end up with a good coach. But you've done damage to the brand. I don't think there's any question. Well, here it goes.
What are we waking up to next?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Did you? I mean, you heard the threat of this, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then I said, well, if I'm his agent. I mean, if I'm his attorney, I'm like, man, heck with y'all.
If you got
just
something,
show us.
if you got something, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
if you got
because
something, let me know.
Because
they're required to go for cause in 7 days, which they didn't do.
These things were going on before we went on a losing streak.
Right. Yeah, you fire a guy in the middle.
Does the timing make any matter in court? As far as
any judge going to look and say, no, you fired him because they lost their third game. They lost to Texas A&M, okay, and they lost in embarrassing fashion. If you were fired him for something in the morals clause, you would have fired him when it happened. Did it happen between the end of the game and Texas A&M and Sunday morning? No, of course it did.
We're over here at Dozy Place on Government Street in the heart of Mid-City, and come on by and see us for lunch. We got an entirely different lunch menu than we do here for the dinner. And, hey, man, holiday season is just around the corner, and, man, you want to get a special gathering, a certain amount of people, we could put you in, like, the little bay window area that does about 12 or so. We could do bigger crowds over here in a Crown Town room. You want to rent out the entire Crown Town room? Call us up over here at Dozy Place to reserve your spot for your holiday gathering of any type of size. Casual steaks by night and some great plate lunches, po' boys, hamburgers and chicken sandwiches by day, and the plate lunches, whether it's a hamburger steak, the spaghetti and meatballs, the chicken fried steak, the hamburger steak with either the fresh cut French fries or the mashed potatoes and the homemade gravy. Man, generous portions, to put it lightly. Dozy Place on Government Street in Mid-City.
Live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Remember, the show's available on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. That's brought to you by Supreme Rice, supporting our Louisiana farmers since the 1930s. Go to SupremeRice.com. Hey, isn't it funny how two games with the exact same score, just a few days apart, can be so very different? The Eagles beat the Packers last night 10-7 in what I thought was a really highly competitive game, a game play between two good teams, flawed teams, but good teams that came down to the end and one or two plays for one to make it. And that 10-7 game between the Raiders and the Broncos last Thursday was just awful.
I agree. I agree.
You had 11 more first downs in this game than that one, and you had 11 fewer penalties. So that's the tangible stat. But if you watched Thursday night, it was just awful. And last night, I don't need a lot of points for it to be compelling football. I thought it was really compelling football between two good,
after it, man.
Yeah, good, although flawed teams, teams that could get on a run, but have some holes. I enjoyed that.
Even two cold weather teams look to be a little bit affected by the new cold.
Yeah. I mean, it was 30 degrees at the kickoff, I believe. I mean, yeah.
It just. I don't know. I kind of like some of those games, man. I don't enjoy games like Cincinnati and the Jets. No. I mean, there's absolutely zero resistance on defense. I mean, but I still think that it's more and more where they're going. I don't count on these things, Charlie, kind of, because I'm going to watch the games regardless. And they're geared. The new rule changes are geared to the casual fans and bringing those people to the set. I think it's good that we still have real football where defenses can play. I want to see my idea of the best football games when this team gets it. You don't know if they're going to score or turn or 3 and out.
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't know. I mean, you're going to have to work for those yards as opposed to. So, no, I agree with you 100%. This was much higher quality football than Thursday night.
And physical football. You have two of the best running backs in football. Their stats were very similar. You were feeding them the ball. Two quarterbacks that both I thought had a hard time pushing the ball down the field, weather or whatever you want to attribute that to. I thought the defenses played their behinds off last night. You had a number of, I thought, really strong defensive plays where balls knocked away or blocks defeated at the point of attack, and then you had other times where the rushing attacks did get going just a little bit. No, I thought it was good. That was a good, hard, clean football game. It just didn't have a lot of scoring in it, which is fine. I can enjoy a game like that when it's well played.
I can if I'm looked to do the Christian, I can pick apart the quarterbacks a little bit as passers. It's I don't know how much separation. They didn't show many overhead shots, so it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of separation by the receivers.
Yeah.
We know about A.J. Brown crying a lot. We know about he's really good, but why is he not being? It's not just
this game either with A.J. Brown.
Injuries have certainly hurt the receiving core, especially the tight end, who is loved.
Oh, Tyler Kraft being out hurts Green Bay
deal. He's a true tight end. He's a great blocker as well. But, Love is – it's funny how the league changes. And for 2 weeks, the Packers were clearly the most impressive team on their way, right? Well, now they're just kind of a mediocre offense. It's leaning on their defense that lost to Carolina, that lost to Cleveland, and should have lost to Arizona or could have lost to Arizona. Those are some bad games in there. So we thought the addition of a good team, you add Parsons, but he's kind of – his impact is limited. So, Green Bay looks like they're slipping back into mediocrity where they looked clearly to be the best. And, could Detroit have a bad opening day? They could have. They looked much better. I want to take over the play calling duties for when we play Washington's defense. We'll see how that sustains. Yeah. But, Campbell's, doing that stuff and did a lot of pre-snap motion, a lot of things that the former offense coordinator did, who was also in the same role as Johnny Morton under Campbell. But no, this is just better teams. You can tell it, man. There's some good defensive fronts. Yeah, and I thought one of the biggest plays of the game, because I would have really liked to have seen this stand to see how it came out, was the pass down to the Philly 13-yard line to Christian Watson. That would have given them first and 10 at the Philly 13. This was early in the fourth quarter. They got called back for the illegal formation penalty. It was just a killer because that play would have put Green Bay in position to score, and they end up having to punt on that drive where they would have been 13-yard lines. Can't do that. Punching, get ready for the punch. Yeah. It's coming. Yeah. And I'm seeing, not just by the goal line, but more and more guys cradling the ball as they pretty much are limited how much more yardage they're going to get because the punch is coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And so the penalty on Green Bay and the two big plays that Philadelphia made on offense, the little swing pass to Barkley, which was a check down, and he's a great player. He ends up making about 40 yards on the little pass. And then the pass to Devontae Smith was very well executed. So Philly made two big plays. Green Bay's big play.
He was a little late on the throw. Devontae did a good job coming back and getting it, But, at least he got it down there. But he's and Philly doesn't. They're just kind of almost – that's an unimpressive 7-2, huh? But, this is a team that played so many games last year. They know, and they played so many games a year before. They're just kind of maybe coasting and just kind of – they're going to turn it up when they have to because we know. But, man, it's almost like an NBA team, a little bit of load management.
They still play great defense. They still play physical run game. Their problems have been in the passing game and why Smith and Brown are not more engaged in this offense. And I can't answer that.
Barkley.
The play call. Well, okay.
Barkley had a lot of touches. It's just maybe his year because you see the bounce effect there about Barkley and Henry. It's a tough position.
It's a lot of miles.
So now you got a little bit more. The Colts running back? How many touches did he have last year?
Yeah, not
much less. He's got a little bit fresher legs.
I would like them to get more involved with Brown and Smith a little bit if I was an Eagle fan.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title, Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060, full service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services. What you get? We need out 296-0060. A great team, long-standing team over at Legacy Title. Ashley Donald, Marion Haynes, Adrian Gallardo, Michael Platt, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody chooses but you. Choose Chad Reynolds, Legacy Title, 296-0060.
Live at Doe's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Heading out to Las Vegas, deep in the desert, lives one man of many sports bets. The one and only Andy Isco.
Well, Andy, thanks for your services again. The last of our 5 Survivor picks officially went down in flames in Charlotte, North Carolina this past weekend with the upstart Saints. So I don't know if you realize, but this is just the first of many, many quarterback wins by Joe Montana. I mean, Tyler Shuck. So Charlie, you were right. I went on social media a little bit. My goodness, a star is born, huh?
Yeah. I mean, I liked what I saw, but
yes, I mean,
put the brakes a little bit.
Brakes a little. My goodness, how you doing, Andy?
That was not the game that upset me. The game that upset me was Tampa Bay, New England, because I really, it was a perfect spot for Tampa Bay coming off the bye. New England coming off of 2 straight home games, going on the road, facing the second test of the year. They passed the first one against Buffalo a few weeks ago, and then, of course, they passed this one this week against Tampa Bay. And I'm starting to wonder how many people are having the question, Mike Drake may be the best quarterback of that 2024 draft class?
I'm not ready to go there yet. No.
He's certainly having the best year.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. But is he having a better year than Daniels had last year?
He's doing with a rather weak roster overall and a first-year head coach with the organization. You know, as Patriots coach, obviously player, but that was years ago.
Yeah, they in a driver's seat. I love my Patriots AFC East bet. That's for sure. What do you think? Some people believe that because the schedule is so light and it is based on the winning percentage this season, it is the softest schedule remaining of the 32 teams, that he doesn't have that power factor. You know, that one of those games to make a big win, that juice factor. To get that done. I don't think that applies maybe for the coach of the year. Am I wrong on that?
Oh, I think that barring a total collapse, Vrabel is easily the coach of the year, might even be unanimous, although you'd certainly have to say Shane Steichen of the Colts will get a lot of support as well, especially because he took over a team that was basically a 500 team the last 2 years. But you know, I took a look, and one of the reasons why I liked Tampa Bay was looking at the Patriots' schedule. You know, they had 7 wins. You take out the Buffalo win, and the other 6 wins were against teams that were a combined 14 and 31 against the rest of the NFL, meaning taking out the games against the Patriots. Those teams were 14 and 31 against the rest of the league. So to me, that was a significant factor in saying, okay, yeah, let's give them credit for the Buffalo win, but take a look at all the other teams that they beat, and some of them they struggled against, even the week before against Atlanta, which has not been known for being a great road team. You know, that was fortunate that Atlanta missed an extra point, or we don't know what will happen over the last few minutes of the game. But nonetheless, they've been bullies against some of the really, really weak teams. But I'll tell you what, that win against Tampa Bay, I'm a believer in the Patriots now. You go back over the years and take a look at some of the teams that have won Super Bowls without outstanding or all-pro quarterbacks, etc. And there are a number throughout the years who have at least made it to the Super Bowl, if not won it outright.
At least Max wins the award of the worst beat. So he is the only one that is permitted to whine about his Survivor pick, because Arizona Carolina was clearly the worst of ours. So Charlie, you heard that?
I did, but you know, he also had the Texans against the Jaguars on Sunday, so they paid him back.
What's that, Andy?
Are you talking about the Arizona loss to Tennessee?
Yes.
Tennessee, yeah.
I'm sorry. I mean, I said Carolina. Yeah, I meant Tennessee. Yes.
I was right there with you, and you want to know something? I don't regret the pick, because everything was the flukiest types of results. Yeah, obviously I regret the result, but I'd make the same pick again before the game.
Yeah, no doubt. What are we looking at the current odds for MVP?
Drake May's the favorite. That's why I would maybe go back a little bit on is he having a better season than Jayden Daniels or not. Now it's a wide open MVP race at this moment.
Stafford.
I would vote for Stafford if it was today.
Stafford's right there with him.
I said that a few weeks ago. I think he was playing the best ball of his career. I had to remind you that even in a Super Bowl championship, he led the league in interceptions.
Yeah,
he's
25 to 2 touchdown interception ratio. He leads the league in touchdown passes. He's right there.
How many 4 TDs, no interception games in a row now? Is that 3 of them?
4 and
4?
3. No, 3, and it's never been done before. in NFL history.
Yeah, and so
I would vote for him, but it's close. I mean, and I think Jonathan Taylor too, man.
Right now, I have to believe the Rams would be the favorite in the NFC right now, ahead of Philadelphia.
You got a massive game this week, Rams Seahawks.
Yeah,
that's a home and home, so they got both of their games left. Where's it? This one's at LA. You know.
Yeah.
Right now, the Rams are favored, plus 320 to win the NFC, slightly over the Eagles and the Lions.
You know, and you talk about the Eagles' defense, Charlie. They went and moved the ball pretty easily in Philadelphia. That was a fluke. They had 2 block field goals.
Yeah.
I mean, to lose that one.
Yeah.
So he's just playing so good, man. I mean, now San Francisco is depleted. They lost another key defender on Sunday against them, but it was never. I mean, they didn't even settle for field goals. It was just touchdown after touchdown after touchdown drive, and I don't know. He's so much for the scaring some people off with those back injury stories, and he wasn't even suited for some of the preseason games, and just didn't know. But he's playing the best ball of his career. I don't think it's even close. So, and they've got a serviceable defense. But are we gonna? Boy, the love for Seattle, huh, Andy? I mean, and they're doing it in dominant fashion, but they are getting a lot of momentum by the betting public.
Oh, yeah, and the trade they made for your Saints receiver at the trade deadline just added depth to that team. The defense is nice, well-balanced, and they're, sometimes it's not quite like the Patriots. Remember, Seattle was 10-7 last year, but didn't make the playoffs. But unless you're one of the top 4 or 5 teams coming into the season, it takes a while for people to start believing in these teams, even though they're showing all the characteristics of what they're doing is the right thing to do. One of the things I always look for is I look for teams that don't turn the ball over. I think that's the biggest mistake. Penalties also another thing, but when you give teams extra possessions and take away from your possessions, that's a sure way to increase the odds that you're not going to win games.
All right, so yes, Drake May plus 275. It's almost co-favorites. He and Stafford right now. Any chance that a non-quarterback can win it? I mean, what more can Taylor do?
If Jonathan Taylor puts up LaDainian Tomlinson numbers, he wasn't the last running back to win the MVP. I think Peterson was, but
yeah, Adrian Peterson was the last.
But and then I think before that it was Tomlinson when he set the NFL record for touchdowns in a season. If he gets to that number, I think you have to look at him.
Andy, who do you think is going to win Coach of the Year?
I would have to say Vrabel because it looks as though they're going to make the playoffs and could very well be the number 1 seed and end Buffalo's long streak of winning the AFC East. But I think Steichen of Indianapolis will be right there, and so will the Seattle coach. But I think you'd have to really take a look at Vrabel, especially doing it with a second-year quarterback.
Who do you think's done a better job this year between Steichen and Vrabel? I know they've done unbelievable, but who's done a better job?
It's really hard to distinguish between them because of the two different situations. Obviously, you can make a case for Indianapolis, but that maybe you bring Daniel Jones into the conversation because that was their problem the last few years. They had Pittman, they had Taylor, but they had Richardson, a quarterback who decided he didn't want to play a couple of series in a couple of games and never really has materialized. And Daniel Jones, remember, Jones led the Giants to the playoffs in Dable's first season. Back then, and they had a playoff win over Minnesota. And then, of course, and we saw, of course, the last couple of weeks, especially 2 weeks ago in Pittsburgh, that his fumble problems, the turnover problems continued. But he seems to have adjusted that. But and again, let's also keep in mind that the odds makers before the season were very enthusiastic on the Patriots. I think their win total was something like 8.5. So he's done a great job. But the expectations were that this team was going to take a great leap from what they had done last year, and so far they've done exactly that.
I would think that the expectation level of the Patriots was a little bit stronger. Not much. I don't think the win total was only a one difference. I think that the Colts are right around 8.5, but because they've been 500 pretty much every year.
Did the number on the Colts move from the time you got it maybe in midsummer to when they named Jones a starting quarterback? Did their win total change very much? No,
I don't think so. No, I mean, take note. I mean, you don't have to always be committed to playing your investments.
Because more people thought that Richardson would win the job just because of what they had invested in. Before training camp, didn't most people think that Richardson was going to win that job? Or they were going to give it to him, right? I mean, maybe I'm misremembering. Andy?
I think there was some uncertainty really until the decision was made. I don't think they ruled either
That's
guy
a
out.
Wes Reynolds question. I think it was closer than you think, Charlie.
I mean, it was definitely close. I just think that I remember thinking, if it's close, they'll give it to Richardson just because they got the big
Wes.
Okay.
He'll remember. He was certainly.
He's so giddy right now.
Oh, I know. How about Fernando? I finally saw the best angle of that. The damn Penn State DB actually kept his foot from hitting the white part by pushing him. The momentum. Yeah, kind of pushed it because it doesn't physically gravity. It's not supposed to happen, by itself. So anyway, what you got?
No, Patriots were 8.5, and the Colts were 7.5. So one game
different, 8.5 and 7.5. Andy, before we let you go, anything else that you're looking at? The futures are this weekend.
Well, the one college game I'm looking at, because it was an ugly game last year, and of course they're still very much in controlling of the making it the SEC championship game. Kind of like Alabama to get to avenge that ugly 24-3 loss they had last year against Oklahoma. And a lot of people can make a case for Oklahoma. They went into Tennessee and pulled an upset that upset me quite a bit. But this Alabama team, I think DeBoer's finally getting his imprint on the team, and we've seen this team play outstanding defense all year. So has Oklahoma, but I think the Alabama pedigree is going to come into play here.
Whether it's Alabama, Georgia, Texas, I mean, A&M is the only one that I think has a chance to be a really, really a player when we get to the playoffs. These other ones all have their limitations. Alabama is 106 in yards per carry on rushing. 106 out of 136. I mean, 3.6 a rush.
LSU held him to 2 yards and change.
Yeah, that's going to limit you, man. Mm-hmm. That's going to limit you. Follow Andy on Twitter at VegasAndy711. Also with us each and every Sunday with Football Sunday with his top 2 selections of the week. Andy, great stuff as always. Thank you, buddy.
We'll chat on Sunday. Good luck, everybody.
All right. Don't forget our friends at Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. If you're in a neighborhood that requires wood windows, your homeowners association requires wood windows. Got to call our friends over at Relief Windows. 288-8138, open 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday through Friday. And the extreme weather conditions like this. So whether it's the heat, the rain, the mold, the cold, the snow, the humidity, you name it, you got to get the Relief Windows. The special wood windows, the R-Last gel windows that come with a 20-year general warranty and a lifetime limited warranty against rot and termites. They look great, they're functional, and they last in these extreme South Louisiana weather conditions. 288-8138 or ReliefWindows.com.
Live at Doe's Live at Lunch, 105 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
In the interest of getting through a game in peace, Mavericks team owner Patrick Dumont fired general manager Nico Harrison this morning. Of course, he traded Luka Doncic. Luka is averaging 37 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists a game, shooting 49% from the floor. Anthony Davis has played in 5 of the Mavericks' 11 games. So, other shoe drops on Nico Harrison, who made the big splashy trade, but it hadn't worked out, and today it's cost him his job. We'll do first class, second class, no class from Doe's when we return live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at Lunch, first class.
I want a seat in first class where I was booked and ticketed over a month ago.
Second class.
No man should be subjected to the indignity of being labeled or treated like a second-class citizen.
And no class.
Life had become like school on Sunday. No class.
I'll tell you what then. Why don't you call me sometime when you have no class?
First class, second class, and no class. Brought to you by Supreme Rice. Buy local with Louisiana-based Supreme Rice since 1936.
And we return here at Doe's Eat Place on Government Street in Mid-City. Come by and see us here in the Crown Town Room for lunch today. First class was an easy one for me this week. On Sunday, former NFL Commissioner Paul Tagliabue passed away. He was 84 years old. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that Paul Tagliabue saved football, professional football, in the city of New Orleans. He had a lot of help. The business leaders that came together in the city after that, the city and state officials that played a role. Arnold Filko, the former Saints executive, played a role. Even Roger Goodell, who was counsel for the NFL at the time before he became commissioner, played a role. But it was Tagliabue who really put the whole thing in motion, that the Saints were going to give the NFL was going to give the Saints a chance to make it in New Orleans. They were not going to just look at the dire situation that they were put in following Katrina and give up on the city. And I don't think it's an exaggeration either to say that Tom Benson would have preferred at that point to move the team to San Antonio, where they spent part of the 2005 season. Tagliabue put his foot down. He rallied the support. And a year after the greatest tragedy of New Orleans, the Superdome reopened, and we were all there for that incredibly emotional night when the Saints came back. Tagliabue deserves an enormous amount of credit for changing the mind, or at the very least telling Tom Benson, you may be able to move this franchise in 2 or 3 years if we can't get this together, but you are going to give the city a chance. And without that, Jimmy, I think we'd be watching the San Antonio Saints today.
Oh, Benson was on his way.
Yeah.
He was on his way, had one foot out the door. He's got all his connections. You know, they played some games there along with the Baton Rouge that year. But like you said, Tagliabue. Now, you said he rallied the support. What?
They put the business leaders. It was all in the book, Jeff Duncan's book.
Okay.
That the city leaders came together. They came together, and I'm forgetting the businessman's camp, and it was all the heavy hitters. And it was like, okay, what are we going to do?
With Tagliabue?
Tagliabue was part of putting those meetings in motion.
Oh, really?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
It all tied together.
I mean, he's the one that gave the city a chance. Now, listen, I had so many friends, you know, that and parents of not dad's friends and whatever, like, didn't have Saints tickets before.
Right.
I told you I watched that old YouTube game. Was the strike season? What was that?
87.
They're playing the Giants. The Giants had lost all 3 scab games. 87. That broke like the 30-something, or 5-year whatever streak of blackouts. Mm-hmm. And well, they sold out the Atlanta Monday Night Football game. It helped. They had 2 wins in Green Bay and Cleveland to start out, and then that memorable. It was way up there in our top 40 when we had the pandemic, and we were doing our top 40 of the 40 most memorable sporting events, and in this area. And but there's just so many fans that never really gone to Saints games or. We got to do our part.
Yeah.
We got to try and we got to buy.
He gave them a chance.
Give me
and they
4 or
responded.
6 tickets, man. Let's try and go and do that type of. They've been sold out ever since. Now blackouts are not as common as they were, 40 years ago, 35, 40 years ago. But we still have to remind ourselves that's where we were.
They went the same way as academic suspensions. They seem to. It's a dated term.
No, but Tagliabue, and then the person who was assigned from his office on the beat was Goodell.
Yeah, Goodell was the lead
Goodell did a
counsel
lot
at
of that work
point.
as well.
Yeah.
So
I was also of the opinion, I got a little bit of pushback on this, that of the commissioners of the big sports in my lifetime, Tagliabue was one of the. It's a thankless job. You're gonna take a lot of arrows, and it's kind of like being an athletic director. You don't get credit when things go wrong, but you certainly get blame when things go badly. That he was one of the more liked commissioners. Pete Rozelle had a lot of enemies, fans, owners, etc. Pete Rozelle had a lot of enemies because he had to change things in the NFL to get it to the big time. So he faced some pushback. I don't think it's
by fans. Rozelle
a little bit, yeah.
I don't remember Rozelle being. I mean, sure, Al Davis hates him, but
Al Davis. Roger Goodell liked or hated.
Oh, he's way more polarizing and doing things that maybe aren't in the best interest of here. It's so much. I mean, whether it's us, the players, the fans, the money grab is just too much, man.
Adam Silver.
Silver's as weak as you can get.
Okay,
but
Rob Manfred.
Oh, I think Manfred has done more for a stubborn league than than a lot
in the last
of people.
2 years. The first 4 or 5
thought
years were tough.
He's done a lot of really
and
modern things, something that's appreciated, that really was resisted heavily. I give him a lot of credit for going upstream and doing some things that most people now like. Okay, the Ghost Runner. No, I don't want to watch 18-inning games all the time.
Yeah. Here's where I acknowledge my bias on Tagliabue. He saved the Saints. Okay, I've been a Saints fan.
There's no doubt.
But okay, if I lived in Cleveland, he let the Browns go to Baltimore. Okay, he didn't block that. If I lived in Houston, he let the Oilers go to Tennessee, and he didn't block that.
Can you block an owner doing what he wants? I mean,
you have to rally enough support among the other owners to block it.
But so those owners, if
can
they
he
want,
just vote no? No,
but those owners want to have the freedom to move if they want to. Also,
that's right. That's why it's very difficult to block an owner, and that's why he couldn't do it.
What move has been blocked in our lifetime? Did they block St. Louis to Los Angeles?
They did not.
Did they block Houston to Tennessee? Did they block, I mean, what is blocked?
There have been a few that have fallen through financially.
Saints to San Antonio.
The Timberwolves to New Orleans, if you want to take an NBA example, because they thought that was going to happen.
Different league.
It was a different league. I'm trying to think of other teams that have tried to move and not been able to. I think about Buffalo to Toronto. They wanted a new stadium.
They played some games there.
Yeah, they did. The Chargers were in flux for a long time. They kept them in San Diego maybe longer than they
wasn't that long ago. The Saints were playing preseason games in Jackson to Shreveport to Memphis.
Yeah, so I can't
because they couldn't sell out. They weren't selling the tickets in the dome.
So it does depend a great deal on where you live as to what your memories of Paul Tagliabue. For me, they're good.
I think
franchise.
I remember, and I've covered some of Tagliabue's sort of State of the League addresses as part of Super Bowl week, and he just seemed more less controversial.
Yeah. Eloquent is the word I would use. Listening to him speak.
I think they're all pretty sharp.
Oh, they're all. No,
I think they're all pretty sharp. They're just. Let's face it, the level of greed is just it's too much right now. And it's and they put Goodell out there. Goodell's in the thankless. That's why they pay him so much, Charlie.
Yes.
To be the front man, to take the bullet, to take the
punching
darts.
bag.
Yeah, but Tagliabue is. I mean, Rozelle had to grow the game in a certain way, and he did. And for the better, for everybody to make it more exposure. But
make no mistake, I think Pete Rozelle is the best commissioner in any league in my lifetime. Okay, but he did incur an awful lot of pushback from different sort of owners and fans at that. Because you're right, he had to do some things that were unpopular at the time, and some of that was franchise movements. And Rozelle was right there for two strikes. Is the biggest.
And I don't know how many people know this, but I mean, who's the one guy that he had to? No, he's going to block. And he did Benson's justice by keeping him from going to San Antonio.
Yeah.
San Antonio is not supporting that team like the new city of New Orleans.
No,
or the state or the region.
And
no.
I was also reminded. Don't you think Jerry Jones helped a little bit? Yes, Jerry Jones helped a little bit. He probably rallied some support and say, no, we're not going to let you move there because he didn't want a team in San
Did he have to get a vote to stop that?
It never got that far. I
thought it was all happening too quick.
It never got that far.
It was Tagliabue's decision.
But it was like, if this goes to a vote, man, you're going to have a problem because Jerry's going to rally his friends. You're going to have a hard time winning the vote. So let's see how this goes. But Tagliabue did an awful lot, and for that, first class upon his passing. Second class, all right, I'm just going to put him here this week. I liked what I saw.
Tyler Shook.
Yeah, I liked what I saw. Okay, this is the ultimate second class good with a chance to be great. Here's what I liked. Forget about the numbers, okay? I like the fact that he was accurate with a lot of his throws. I like the fact that he bought himself some time and continued to look down the field. I like the play where he avoided the safety. Again, Aaron Rodgers, same kind of thing on the Sunday night game. He ended up getting caught for the safety. Shook gets him out of trouble there. The long play to Juwan Johnson was his last option on the play. A lot of things to like there. He's athletic enough to buy himself some time, but he's not looking to run a whole bunch, just enough. And I want to see more. I'm not ready to anoint him as gold jacket worthy, but I've seen enough to where I want to see more. Max is making a mean face at me because I never gave Spencer Rattler this kind of slack in the rope, I guess. I'm sorry, Max. My eyeball test. I like this kid better.
I like Chuck too.
Okay.
I love Chuck as well. I get why they made the move. Yeah.
So let's watch some more games. Let's watch another 6 or 7 games this year. Let's watch and see what he looks like. The Saints' schedule is favorable the rest of the way.
What? Favorable for what? To lose draft position?
Well, to see if he can play. And look, I hope he plays well and they lose them all. I get where you're going with this. But putting him in there against the Rams was pretty tough. Putting him in there against the Panthers on the road is reasonable. Putting him out there against the Jets, the Titans, the Dolphins, the Browns, let's see if he can put up some good numbers.
His numbers are great. 19 to 27, double-digit yards per attempt is really good. 10.4. 2 TDs, no interception. Numbers, great. No, really, really good. Giving him credit for being more mobile than a 42-year-old quarterback, Charlie, really. I mean, you said your words. You've done this more than once, so I've had enough of it. He avoided the safety, and a 42-year-old quarterback didn't on Sunday night.
Rodgers ran backwards into the end zone. It wasn't a lack of mobility. It was a dumb play.
Okay, so we're giving him credit. Hey,
yes,
look, give him credit. He didn't run backwards into the end zone.
Yes, I did.
I think the
bar is low.
I told you that yesterday.
Rattler didn't do that.
I told you that.
Rattler didn't run backwards into the end zone to get caught.
I was talking about the New Orleans mean. I said they've been beat down
if
for so long.
We're doing that. I mean, come on, let's give.
He didn't make a dumb play, okay? And I didn't see him make any dumb plays on Sunday. That's encouraging, okay? Doesn't have to be that specific dumb
17
play.
points aren't going to win a whole lot of NFL games.
No, that's the bad part.
But, I mean, they were in a position where I do give it a little bit more credit. They were down 7-0. They responded with the. How about our boy Jawan Johnson, huh? With a touchdown, huh?
Nice play.
Y'all hate on that guy, man. Y'all can't stand that guy.
There we go.
Hate on his contract. I said the Browns. I meant the Dolphins. The remaining.
You said the Dolphins and the Browns.
Okay, well, I didn't mean to say the Browns. I should have said Jets, Titans, Dolphins, Falcons twice.
Are there any worse defenses than those?
Buffalo.
I do think that makes it a fair evaluation, though, because he's without Shaheed. He was without Eric McCoy, so he's got less pieces around him as well.
There's no doubt.
3 backup linemen Sunday, the offensive line.
Hopefully, because the Rams game was not good. Hopefully, it was just a bad spot. Hopefully, because it was ugly. It was ugly.
Yeah.
So.
No class. You can rewind the show on demand back to the beginning, but I'll also throw in Lincoln Riley and the USC punter in the
number 80, Heward. Now punting for the USC Trojans, 4th and 6. It's the backup quarterback. I love the Trojans broadcast team. They're always dialed in. 4th and 6, 10-yard pass. Man, I tell you, I didn't know the punter had that pass looked pretty good, didn't it? That was only 10 yards, but that was a pretty sharp pass.
Right, yeah. When the guy's a quarterback. I'm sorry. I didn't like that garbage when Miles did it. I don't like it now. I think it's...
Explain what Miles did. He he swapped the punter and place kickers.
They all wore the same number.
Oh, okay.
They all wore 38 in some elaborate attempt to deceive, and I thought it was...
Mad Hatter. I
thought it was Bush League then. I think it's Bush League now. So
Back when the lighter things in life, we could be picky about what humiliated us, huh?
Yeah.
Would embarrass us, huh?
Yeah, it was just like...
Can we go back to that time? Bring Les back.
Charlie, can I add a quick honorary second class?
Please.
I know it's your segment.
Go ahead.
Very quick. I know we might talk about LSU basketball later, but a former LSU basketball player. This was kind of lost because it was a college football Saturday. Trenton Watford made his first start with the Sixers. This is his 5th year in the NBA. After being undrafted, spent 2 years here at LSU under Will Wade. First start for a winning team, 6-4 right now. They got the win, 20 points, 17 rebounds, 10 assists, a 20-point triple-double in his first start with the 76ers.
Wow. Liked him when he was here. Didn't like the fact that he was handling the ball so much in his last year. But
no, but he was kind of that.
He was skilled.
He was sort of that point forward. He turned the ball over a lot in it, but they also did like that he could pass out of it sometimes. He got a little too one-dimensional, but he said he had 17 boards or 17 assists?
17 rebounds.
Okay, and then 10 assists. But 10 assists for, so...
Yeah.
It's probably his best game was in a loss in the SEC tournament final against Alabama.
Oh, that
against
game,
Herb
yeah,
Jones.
that was great.
And that was a great basketball game. A great basketball game.
Yeah, but 6'9", 6'8", 6'8",
listed 6'9".
Listed at 6'9".
6'9",
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about skilled big man. First class, second class, no class, brought to you by Supreme Rice.
We ran into Willie Wade.
Did you?
No, back when they were recruiting him. At the pastime, he said, "Man, if we get him, we'd be good."
I do remember that day now. Yeah,
him, we're gonna be good.
He was very good.
Yeah.
First class, second class, no class, brought to you by Supreme Rice. The holidays are fast approaching. If you're cooking, cook it with Supreme Rice. Support our Louisiana farmers. Since the 1930s, all of it's grown, milled, and processed down in Southwest Louisiana. The brown, the long grain, the medium grain, the jasmine, and Jimmy's favorite, the parboiled rice from Supreme Rice.
Yes, indeed. The parboiled rice, what it is, it's a long grain rice, firm. I don't know what they put in it. Makes it just that much easier to boil when you rinse it. I mean, this is not a whole lot of residue when you rinse it as well. So, and it's also got all the nutrients that the brown rice does. So, I mean, you get the best of both worlds. But forever, I try to do everything right. I'll even boil it perfect. You pour it in, strain it, put on cold rice to kind of firm it up a little bit. Sometimes it just wouldn't come out. Just couldn't quite get that restaurant quality rice. I got it now with the parboiled rice from Supreme Rice.
For more information and great recipes, go to supremerice.com. Live at Doe's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we return here at Doe's Eat Place. We're also brought to you by the Morris Insurance Group. They urge you to look again if you're having a hard time. Those big boy toys insured, your boats, your trailers, your motorcycles, your RVs, your coastal properties, your duck camps, your fishing camps. You need flood insurance. Talk to the Morris Insurance Group for auto, homeowners, and commercial insurance as well. 225-201-0007, 201-0007. Ask for Buzzy Hydale. He'll help you out. You can get a free quote at morris-ig.com. So look again if you think you can't find affordable insurance on these items, morris-ig.com. Last night, LSU basketball with a 35-point win over UNO. It's a UNO team that beat TCU last week, so they are not completely without a little bit of credentials here in the very early part of the season. LSU had a nice little run at the beginning and the end of the first half, especially at the end of the first half when UNO could have cut it to 6, I believe it was. Could have cut it to 5. They missed both free throws. I thought LSU played good defense. There were times where they just would not allow entry passes. UNO is a pretty tall basketball team. I think they got 7 guys that are 6'8" or better. They were not allowing a whole lot of entry, and they played pretty good perimeter defense as well. So I thought that was good. Liked what I saw to Markel Sutton for the second game, the transfer from Omaha. At one point, he hit back-to-back threes in the first half that kind of widened the lead. That was early in the game. He ended up hitting 4 out of 8 from three-point range. He looks the part. He's 6'8". He's thick. I think he's a good athlete. I don't know if he's a superior athlete or anything like that, but we're not talking about Tyrus Thomas, but we're talking about a really good basketball player. 15 points, 15 rebounds last night. Michael Nwoko, who I think is going to play a very important role on this team. I don't expect him to score 22 points in very many games. There were some lobs and some putbacks underneath that got into that total. But he is a physical defensive presence, and I did see him alter some shots. I think they're going to need that. The physical presence up front is better with Sutton and Nwoko and Tamba, I think, than it was a year ago. And that's before Jalen Reed's still kind of on a minutes restriction. He's still coming off the bench, and Robert Miller looks like he's in better shape to me. Thomas was in foul trouble for a good bit of the first half last night, so maybe fewer minutes than he is going to get. Want to see more. He certainly was able to distribute the ball very well last night. So all of those things in a comfortable win. Max, you were at the arena last night.
Yeah, they struggled a little bit when Thomas went out late in the first half. He had 2 fouls, and UNO went on a little bit of a run. They struggled a little bit to create some offense without him. But that, to me, if you're going to buy hype into this team, it's specifically that they have point guard play this year that they have not had under the Matt McMahon era. D-Dan Thomas, I mean, in these type of games, I'll just give you one stat you can look at to say if it was a successful offensive performance. Assist to turnover margin. And Thomas, and you combine him with the backup point guard and Jalen Reese, 12 assists, 1 turnover. That's what you want to see from your point guards, your guys who are handling the ball. Their offense is a lot more fluid this year than it has been in the past, even if they're not going up and down the floor at the pace that they have in previous years. So that's what I look for. It's not a great team they played. UNO had a lot of off-ball movement early in the game. They got away from it, and they struggled a little bit offensively in the second half. But like what we saw at LSU, specifically when you look at the point guard play.
21 assists to 31 buckets, and that was a good number in the first game for them, too. Now, listen.
Going to be hard you said hype. Going to be hard to hype this team before conference play, huh?
It will. They have a few, so they have 5 home games to start the year. They're through 2 of them already. And then they've got a lot of these tournaments, these non-conference away games or neutral site venues. So they've got not a whole lot of games at home after that. At that
ECU picked to finish 10th in the Big 12, so close to the middle, not too far off. To be fair, they certainly have an accomplished coach in Jamie Dixon. You know what's happening in Fort Worth, but I mean he's at his alma mater. But they sure gave him a lot of money to get him out of Pitt. I mean, I know it's been a while, but still, they should be improved. It's a very low bar set last year, and still, as disappointing or as weak as they were, as bad as they were, still dumped some more of the collective, gave them a player budget, and so hopefully it was spent. It appeared that the point guard from UNLV. You had to pay probably a higher price than maybe go on because, he had better programs interested in him. And to come to the weaker program probably took more money. So that's the spot you were in. But just, let's not go where we were last year and say, this looks like a tournament team. And that was and finish where in the SEC last year?
Second to last.
15th? 3 conference
15th. So.
I'm not going to go there.
But playing against Air, those are good. And if he has more, he seemed like they're more of a motion, a quick, just like first look, let's get it up and shoot. Pace of play is more selective this year, and maybe part of that is he does have more confidence in his point guard, who's putting up against weak competition some damn good numbers.
Yeah.
Is he a pass first or shoot first point guard?
So far, some of the shot selection you would ask a little bit more. Leaves a little bit to be desired. That's probably the one weak point for him right now.
Okay.
But he's not shooting.
He's trying to find
much.
his happy medium. He's dishing it enough.
He is. He attempted 7 shots, but they weren't all good ones. They weren't all good looks. So something to watch there.
He's got a scorer's mentality, but he's been moving the ball pretty good. The home schedule is atrocious. I probably would have, if I'd have been the AD, told him, you have to put something on here for my season ticket holders. But the road schedule, the tournament schedule, is going to give them a test starting in a little over 2 weeks. They're going to go through a stretch where they're going to play most likely Georgia Tech in that arena, that tournament in Florida. Then the ACC Challenge has got them going to Chestnut Hill to play Boston College. And then they play in that tournament in Fort Worth against Texas Tech. And they come back to New Orleans and play a game against SMU. That's reasonable competition. In fact, that's more than reasonable competition. If you play Georgia Tech, Boston College, Texas Tech, and SMU, all of them away from your building, you're going to get a decent look.
I'll say Texas Tech and SMU are competent a lot more than the other two. I was surprised. Georgia Tech played yesterday. I saw their spread, and I was a little surprised. I thought they'd be better than that, and looked a little deeper. Georgia Tech and Boston College are not the teams that maybe you might think they are in the ACC. The ACC's been down a little while, but still better than what they've been playing.
And you're going to go on the road, okay?
Right.
Georgia Tech will be at a neutral site. I suppose they could end up with DePaul in that tournament, but I think Georgia Tech's favored to win that game. And then you go to Boston College. That's a true road game. That's an ACC team. I'm going to get a look here when when they go to play those games. So that 4-game stretch is going to be by far the biggest litmus test for LSU.
Boston College, now Texas Tech is going to be good. I mean, look, Double Eagle will make sure he's got the softball team covered. He's certainly going to take care of the basketball team. 18-team league in the ACC. Boston College, their ACC Media Days in October in Charlotte, they're picked last of 18.
Where's SMU picked?
6.
Okay.
So much tougher. SMU. And look, we know how these predictions can be, but
sure.
Gives you a little bit of an. What else can we go by right now?
Where's Georgia Tech?
Georgia Tech is 13th out of 18.
Okay.
Duke 1, Louisville 2, North Carolina 4, Willie Wade's NC State 5. I'm sorry, North Carolina 3, NC State 4.
Louisville hosting Kentucky tonight. We can watch.
Is that right?
At the Yum Center.
Some good games.
7 o'clock
tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of good games.
He's expected to have a much better team this year in Louisville. Always been well.
You want to talk about hit rock bottom and turn it around from 2 years ago.
Well, they want to win. They want to win,
sure,
and they put their money where their mouth is, and certainly Kentucky is as well. Kentucky is, man, and as far as football, we're ready to run. And Stoops can't be thrilled. I mean, that's got to take a little bit from the football, huh? When they get 45%, when everybody's getting 15%, and Kentucky's giving the basketball 45%, it's got to take some from the football, huh?
I'm sure.
And this guy, we're ready to punt him. He wins his last 2 conference games.
He realizes he's at a basketball school, right? We had this discussion a few years ago.
well, he when it's all said and done, Stoops is going to be compensated very, very nicely in Lexington. So, but kind of stay in your lane. It's number 2. It's number 2.
Always will be. 100 years
you
from
would
now,
think so, huh?
At Kentucky, yeah.
Even at the height of Mummy, was there a little dip in the basketball? Doesn't matter, huh?
No. Not at that school.
Doesn't matter. Don't forget our friends over at K&M Automotive on Segan Lane. Segan near Perkins, across from Ambrosia Bakery. It's the only place I take my vehicle. Jason Payne, you've heard the horror stories about, going in there and, wait a minute. You paid what? To get what done on your vehicle? That just doesn't sound right. So K&M Automotive, he's going to give you an honest shake. Going to basically try and find you a much less expensive repair than a much more costly replace. So the only place I take my vehicle, 8445 Segan Lane, just off of Perkins. They're open 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. The only place I take my vehicle is K&M Automotive, Segan, just off of Perkins.
Live at Doe's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Today's show also brought to you by Coastal Capital Advisors, because when it comes to retirement, no two situations are alike. Let Coastal Capital Advisors and Phil Fontenot and his staff help you out. They'll find out where you are, talk to you, get a good feel for your situation, no matter where you are in life, your age, your income level. They'll tailor-make a plan that is perfect for you, give you some peace of mind, that lifetime relationship that they have formed with our family, and they can do for you as well. Go to coastalcapitaladv.com to set up an appointment. coastalcapitaladv.com. Coastal Capital Advisors, member FINRA, SIPC. Let's bring in Greg Bowser, former LSU Tiger now. Greg, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, Charlie. Doing well, Tigers didn't win. They played well for half, and then just kind of, I think the air just came out.
What do you attribute that to, mostly?
I think they were just playing on emotion, on something new early on, and I think later in the game, I think it just wore them down. I think Alabama just wore them down. That's all. I think just a couple of things didn't go right, and then the wheels just kind of came off.
When the first drive of the second half resulted in a field goal, Frank Wilson made it. They had first and goal at the 8, and they ended up with 4th and goal at the 27. So that just kind of magnified LSU's red zone woes that they've had. They made the decision to change quarterbacks at that point. What did you think of Michael Van Buren running the offense after that?
I thought he played well. I thought he did a really good job. I thought it was a good move to change quarterbacks. I think I think it was obvious Nussmeier was struggling. He's been struggling the last couple of games. Give him a break. Get him out of there. Now the big question becomes, do you come back with him this week? And I think they will. I think they'll come back with Nuss as a starter. But Charlie, if you pull him again, he's done. So I think they'll come back with him as a starter.
That's certain. Without saying it, knows that exact concrete thing. That's what Frank Wilson said yesterday, that he would take the first team reps in practice all week and that both of them would play. I know there's just 3 games left in the regular season, and I agree with you. I think Nussmeier will start this game. But what type of we see all kinds of different ways you can play 2 quarterbacks. You can play them for a series. You can play them for a package. You can even alternate series. Steve Spurrier did that 1 year. They're all a little bit clunky if everybody's not on the same page. So how do you think this ends up looking?
I think you're gonna have Nussmeier in. If he's effective and he's moving the team and things are going well, I don't think you bring in the backup quarterback. You let him play. Now, because once you take him out, even if it's for a series or 2, that's it. He's done. I mean, he's a senior. You got 3 games left. It's a heck of a time to start talking about alternating your quarterbacks. I just don't think that's going to happen. I think you let him play as long as he's doing well and moving the team. And unless Van Buren comes in and he doesn't do a good job. But I think once you see Van Buren in this game, if we see him, I think that's it for Nussmeier.
And see, I don't know. I don't necessarily agree with you. The way that Wilson talked about it yesterday, he suggested that both of these guys are going to get to play even if one of them is playing well, and that's where you get to the clunky part, okay? It's awfully tough to take a quarterback out that's playing well, and this is the worst statistical defense in the Southeastern Conference. So if Nussmeier does play well, how do you take him out? If he doesn't play well, I agree with you. Then you put Van Buren in if he does well. That's the thing that kept it from being a slam dunk last week. Van Buren came in, he did some things, and had Trey'Dez Green caught that ball and run for God knows how long, this might have looked a lot different. But it's not like the offense ignited when Van Buren came in. He did some nice things, did some different things because he's a little bit better runner, but it's not like they went out there and scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. If they scored 21 points in the second half, we probably not having this discussion.
You're right. I just think that at some point you're going to come to a point to where you're going to have to. You need a quarterback, whoever that is, whoever's playing well needs to play, and until he's not playing well. And then I just don't see bouncing back and forth between these 2 quarterbacks is not going to help an offense that's already struggling.
Well, it's not what they want to do. I mean, their strong preference was for Nussmeier to play all game, every game from the beginning of the season to the end, and that hasn't happened.
And I think that still is, Charlie. I think they still feel that way, but that's what I'm saying. If he goes in and doesn't play well, and you have to come in with Van Buren, I don't think you can go back to him. I think it's that you've given him the shots.
Yeah, and if he does play well, and they don't, let's say he plays really well, okay, and they win the game, and he never puts Van Buren in. If Nussmeier has one of those games, let's say he throws for 250 yards, nobody's going to go to Frank Wilson after the game and say, hey, you promised to play Van Buren and you didn't. Well, no, things are going well. Right. And if you do make the change and Van Buren plays well, it's easy to stay with a hot quarterback. The problem is they ain't had a hot quarterback. No. I mean, really the whole year. So the only reason we think that there might be some light at the end of the tunnel on Saturday is because Arkansas has been so porous defensively. Other than that, I didn't look at either one of these guys and go, that's a ticket. Moving forward, that's it. And that's kind of, in my opinion, that's why they are where they are right now.
I agree. And look, this is the last team where this is one of the team where you can get a true picture of what your offense is and how good they are. Next week they play Western Kentucky. That's kind of a rental win. And then at the end of the season you play at Oklahoma, which is going to be difficult, and you better be ready to play. So I think that this is the game where if you can't move the offense and you have to go to Van Buren, I don't think you go back. I think you just say, hey, let's just move on. Let's get ready. Let's go.
May very well end up being that way. We'll see. On the defensive side, LSU was able to – now, Alabama hasn't run the football well most of this year, but LSU was able to stop them there. They put more pressure on the quarterback in this game. They had to blitz a lot to do it, but they put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. And Harold Perkins had, I thought, his best game since the opener against Clemson.
I agree. I thought he played really well, and he looked comfortable. He was just kind of like he was actually reacting instead of thinking about what he had to do. So I like that. The secondary has been good all year. I think they've been solid in terms. I'm still a little concerned about our defensive front because we're still a little undisciplined up there. We're not taking good angles. We're letting people get outside of us. We're allowing the quarterback to run a little bit, which should never happen. But anyway, I think overall we played better. We played defensively well enough, I thought, in the first half anyway, to win the game if we could have continued that.
All right, I fulfilled my obligation to talk about football, which I think is number 2 on everybody's list today.
By the way, Arkansas yards per play defense in the country out of 136, 123. Oklahoma, 3.
3
and 123.
Yeah,
so there'll be a little disparity in their last 2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying, Jimmy. You do your experiment, and now you settle on your quarterback now because Western Kentucky, that's not going to count. You throw that one out. When you go to Oklahoma, it's going to be a different story, man. You better be ready to play. There ain't going to be no guessing there.
Greg, there's very few people talking about LSU football outside of the market. They're talking about Brian Kelly's lawsuit against the school, which is now seeking to fire him for cause. I'm sure you've seen this story. You're an alum. I mean, you live here. What do you think?
I'll tell you what, I think that you fired Brian Kelly because he was not winning football games. Okay? I think that's why you fired him. I think there isn't a court anywhere in the world that doesn't know that. And so if you had some cause to fire him and you had this cause for some time, why didn't you exercise it? Okay? And so that's me as a fan. That's me as somebody who would be sitting in a jury box. I want to know, when did you find this reason to fire him? If it wasn't because he was losing games, if you found some reason to fire him to violate his contract, then you needed to bring that up at that time. That's not why you fired him. That had nothing to do with you firing him.
That's 3 for 3, Jimmy. Max, you with us?
And that's court of public opinion.
Yeah.
Nobody's defending LSU on this move. You want to fire him, man, pay the man. That's the price of doing business.
You wrote the contract.
Period.
Jimmy, I think, and guys, I think you lose it in a court of law. I think you lose it so fast, it'll make your head swim.
I agree. And Scott Woodward didn't have the authority to fire him, really? Verge Osbury was there. There were other LSU officials there. The school put out a statement and let it sit there for, 2 weeks and didn't dispute it. They hired an interim coach. He's been doing press conferences. He was on the sideline at Alabama. I mean, what are we saying here?
Yeah, if your athletic director doesn't have the authority to fire the coach, any one of those coaches, head coaches, then what's his or her authority?
Yeah. Well, we found out a few days later he didn't have any authority, but that was afterwards.
Point is this deal going to be out of public? I mean, what are we going to wake up till next?
When do you?
I mean, what's next, man?
When do you come back with something positive?
And in the last week and a half, when Frank was assigned interim, what did he do? He went and hustled ex-players. He went to reach out to future players. I mean, he is connected with the players way more than the previous coach. Okay, so what he's trying to do, he's trying to bring up some pride.
Yeah.
Man, this is a shot to your pride, man.
Yeah.
We can't take much more, man, of the public humiliation.
Yep.
Pay the damn man.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jimmy. I think live up to the contract, be LSU, and my advice to him sometimes, you got to tell your client, just stop talking.
Yeah. At this
up.
point, yesterday didn't do him any good. Yesterday.
We blame Landry on this? No.
I don't know whose idea this was.
I mean, he was to blame for everything else. Now we got a different layer.
No, but draw the line, Jimmy. I mean, the outside perception is going to be, the quote from Landry is in there. We have a $54 million liability, and we're not doing that again.
This gives credence.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
so,
it does. Yes,
Greg, we appreciate it. We'll see you
guys.
we'll see you next week before LSU plays their final home game.
All right, man. Take care.
Thanks a lot, Greg. We're here at Doe's Eat Place on Government Street, Mid-City.
Yes, indeed. Come on by and see us here for lunch, lunch specials. And we come to Doe's. Most of you come for a casual steakhouse. I mean, you don't have to get just a steak, hand-cut steaks, choice steaks, each and every morning that they're cut. And, man, they are outstanding over here. But what we do also for lunch is a completely different menu. More plate lunches, more sandwiches, more po' boys. A lot of these menu items are only available for lunch. So check us out over here for lunch. And also holiday season in the Crown Town Room. Gatherings of any size. Call us up to reserve your spot. It could be just a table of 8 or 12, or could be a party of 50 or 60 over here in the Crown Town Room. We can cater it. You can order from the menu. We'll figure it out for you. Make sure that our great staff over here does a wonderful job of service here at Doe's Eat Place. Call Scotty Boy over here at Doe's for your holiday gatherings.
Live at Doe's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from Doe's Eat Place on Government Street on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
There's some viewing options tonight. There's MAC football, but if you want to watch the college basketball schedule is so much better this early in November than any year I can remember. We tell you about Kentucky and Louisville tonight. Also tonight, Texas Tech is at Illinois, and that's an on-campus game.
Wow,
2 top 15 teams right now.
That's an awesome
playing.
game.
And then Creighton is at Gonzaga, another on-campus game tonight late, 9 o'clock start. So you got those 3 games. I don't know how good Florida State is. 1 year, first-year coach, but they play Florida tonight. That game's at the O'Connell Center.
Florida's got good. They're good. They got beat by Arizona in Vegas, but no, these are some great games, man. You said Louisville, Kentucky, also.
Louisville, Kentucky at the Yum Center in Louisville. So yeah, nice.
Start doing some studying for
we got to
college
start watching a little
lots,
bit now.
man.
Watching a little bit.
If you wondered about the perception of the latest news, come out of the LSU coaching search. The Calci, the stock, 44 cents. Lane Kiffin to go to LSU was at 44 cents. It has dipped to 35 cents today. So perception, affecting the hires.
Driving markets.
Yeah.
I could see that. I want to thank our friends here at Doe's Eat Place for being our host every other Tuesday. We enjoy our trips here to the Crown Town Room.
Every other Tuesday. We rotate on Tuesdays between here and Mike Anderson's, and both, again, long-time locally operated places. We love them over here. But if you're in the area, here in the mid-city area, stop on by. Stop on by for a happy hour. We're open all the way through the afternoon. And for holiday gatherings, call Scott. He's here all the time. Call him to set up however you want to just order straight from the menu. Just want a reservation during the holiday season. It's kind of that time. You got an office party. You want to do a certain time. Want to rent out the whole Crown Town Room for 40, 50, 60 people. Let us know over here at Doe's. Let us host your holiday gathering right here at Doe's.
Tomorrow we'll be at Iverstein Farms Butcher on Perkins Road. Till then, for Jimmy, for Max, for Jordan back in the studio, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.